So you're looking to start a trading card business in 2025, and maybe you're wanting to know, hey, should I sell on eBay? Should I sell on TCGPlayer? Should I start my own website? What should I do? In this video, I want to help you answer that question. But what's up? If this is your first time here, my name's TJ. I run a business called PokePaster TCG where I sell tons and tons of Pokemon cards, and I've done that here from my basement in Minnesota. And my store is called that because I work at a church as a pastor full time. That's what I do. I've also got a wife and kids. Things are busy, but I've managed to sell over the past year and a half 300,000 cards on TCGPlayer mostly. And so that's how I've built my business. But for you, you're asking the question, hey, what should I do? Should I sell on TCGPlayer? I've heard really good things about eBay. I want to help you, like I said, answer that question. But I am doing a giveaway on the channel right now. My most recent video prior to this one has to do with the market crashing, and if you leave a comment on that video, you're subscribed to the channel, you like the video, all of that stuff, you'll be entered in to win this Gengar from Lost Origin. Love this Gengar, cool card. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and comment something down below. Tell me if you sell on eBay or on TCGPlayer, or if you're just getting started into the space, because I would love to help you on the journey. That is what my channel is for, is to help you guys get your store off the ground. So let's dive into it. But before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about my personal biases, right? So I sell, again, cards on the table. I've done the majority of my sales on TCGPlayer. Now, I don't think that means that TCGPlayer is the best platform. That just means that it's the platform that has worked the best for me. In fact, there have definitely been seasons where I've been looking at some things on eBay or seeing other people who have businesses on eBay, and it's like, oh man, like that's really cool. Like I should start building a presence on eBay because eBay is pretty sick as well. So just understand that in this video, I'm going to try and be as objective as possible while also giving you the pros of selling on both platforms. Prior to that, what about starting your own website? That sounds like a good idea. Well, yeah, it certainly is. If you were to start your own website, you get to completely bypass one of the big cons of selling on both TCGPlayer and eBay, and that is fees. TCGPlayer and eBay, let's just say on both of these platforms, you're going to pay around 13%. Ouch. That means every time you make a sale, if you sell $100 worth of product, you are going to pay 13% in fees plus shipping on really both platforms. That's pretty significant. If you sell that same card on your own website, you're only going to pay a 2.5% credit card processing fee. So why wouldn't everybody just start their own website? Well, nobody's really going to find your website. I mean, they might. So much so, though, to where I don't know a tremendous amount of people or businesses that have made massive businesses selling singles on their own personal website, to where the majority of people who sell singles do it on a platform like TCGPlayer or eBay. Now that said, if you have sealed product or a distributor or a way to sell all sorts of like sealed Pokemon cards and packs or boxes or any kind of trading cards, then having your own website is something that's probably more of a consideration. And I think for everyone, it's like, man, one day I'd like to have my own website. But in terms of getting started, especially if you're going to be selling singles, selling on eBay or TCGPlayer is the way to go. But eBay, let's talk about eBay. eBay is the king of online trading card sales. It is the biggest platform for sure. In fact, it's one of the biggest like online platforms just in general. When people think about buying anything online, sometimes they think of eBay. And so eBay is just naturally going to get a tremendous amount of traffic. Now, it is an algorithmic based platform, which means that there's all sorts of algorithms. This is determined by people way smarter than me. So depending on the keywords and the amount of traffic that your store normally gets, all sorts of things go into that. And so what people see when they search for an item is not necessarily the cheapest item. It's all sorts of things, right? So that's something worth considering. But let's talk about some of the pros on eBay outside of just being the biggest platform. One of the biggest pros, and this makes me jealous, holy smokes, every time I talk about it, is they have an envelope system for cards under $20. That means that if you put together an order, if someone buys some things from your store and it's not that expensive, you're able to print postage from your printer at home, slap that baby on an envelope, get it in the mail, and it will get shipped to wherever it's going. And if that order ends up going missing for whatever reason, eBay will cover you, and that's the beauty of that system. Contrast that to what happens on TCGPlayer. If an order under $20 goes missing, or really any order that doesn't have tracking included, you are out that $20 or $30 or $15 or whatever. It's like, oh, sorry, better luck next year, buddy. Like that's just kind of how it goes. So every time I talk about the envelope system on eBay, a little bit of jealousy just wells up in my soul, because that's really cool. So that's a W for eBay. Another cool thing about eBay is It's not just buy it now. Of course, you can list something and say, here, hey, this thing is this can of what is this? Zero sugar Baja Blast. Which, by the way, Baja Blast, maybe not as good when you're not eating Taco Bell. I don't know. Anyways, but this can of zero sugar Baja Blast is $5. Expensive. Or I can set a bid and start it at $1, and 48 hours later, someone will buy it for $3.50 or something like that. Is that the best way to sell cards if you want to get the most value? Probably not, but at the same time, it's a really good way to liquidate cards. And what I mean by liquidate is you can make sure that something sells quickly by throwing it up as a bid, and then someone will buy it for sure. Quick payouts. Holy smokes. eBay's payouts happen so fast in comparison to TCGPlayer. Sometimes, as a seller on TCGPlayer, I've had thousands and thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars tied up in payments, waiting for it to get paid out to me. And I've waited days and days and days, sometimes up to a week, for that money to put it back into the business and buy other stuff. eBay, I feel like the payouts happen so quickly. So that's really cool and something for you to consider. Also, you get to use money from a sale that just happened to pay for the shipping for that order, because shipping is integrated into the eBay platform. That's not the case on TCGPlayer, so that's something that is absolutely worth considering as well. One of the biggest pros, one of the biggest wins, the biggest things that eBay has going for it, especially for me, I sell Pokemon cards, and this is huge in the Pokemon space, but I think it's huge in the sports card space, maybe not so much Magic space, but anyways, is these. You can sell, eBay is the premier place to buy and sell graded Pokemon cards. This is a PSA 10 Charizard VMAX from Shining Fates, the Shining Vault. This is really cool. This is a really cool card. I cannot sell it traditionally on TCGPlayer. There's no way for me to list PSA 10 Charizard VMAX Shining Fates. I could put it up with a picture and maybe someone will buy it, right? That's one way you can get around it on TCGPlayer, but not that many people go looking for slabs on TCGPlayer just because that's not what they're known for. So that's one of the greatest sources of jealousy for me and my counterparts who sell on eBay primarily, right? Who built their businesses over there. So those are a lot of the pros to consider as you're thinking about getting started with eBay. Now, one quick thing too, if you are thinking, hey, eBay is gonna be my place. Andrew from Gem TCG, I've been on his channel before. He's got a channel very similar to mine, giving you guys tips and tricks. He's got all sorts of really cool tips on, he knows a lot more about selling on eBay than I do. He's an expert over there. So definitely go give his channel a look. He also built an app. I've built like nothing ever in my life. Like I played League of Legends for years and made it to like Diamond 2. Ooh, cool. But he's like building apps and stuff, so that's pretty sick. That like helps people list their cards and sort their cards and like upload their cards. So anyways, go check out his content if you're gonna sell on eBay, because he's like the guy. So yes, let's talk about TCGPlayer now. TCGPlayer, the pros of this platform, which I have sold lots and lots of cards on. One of the biggest pros is that you do not have to include pictures with your listings. That's one thing that you have to do on eBay, is every listing on eBay needs a picture. On TCGPlayer, let's say I was gonna sell this Gengar and I wasn't giving it away, like and subscribe by the way, I would just say, hey, Gengar, Lost Origin Trainer Gallery, I have one, it's listed, someone buys it, they never see it, I ship it out, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. And that's basically that, no picture, no nothing, which makes listing lots of cards really easy because you don't have to screw around with pictures, right? That's a huge win, because I've talked about this before. The trading card game is so much more about volume than it is about margin. And so the more you can list, the more you can sell, the more money you can make, yada, yada, yada. You guys get it. That's cool that you don't need pictures for all of the cards, which means that bulk, TCGPlayer is the premier place to sell bulk. Now, what is bulk? Bulk are cheap Pokemon cards, cards that you can buy as a reseller for a penny, maybe 2 pennies, 3 pennies a piece, like this Iono from, is this one Paldea Evolved? Yeah, this one's from Paldea Evolved. Like probably 15, 20, 25 cent card, I'm not sure how much it is. But over time, if you sell hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of these, it does add up, and TCGPlayer is for sure the best platform to sell bulk cards on like that. Another win for TCGPlayer, and this one's like kind of on the DL, not that many people know about this. It's really cool. In fact, let me know if you found out about this in this video, because I was selling cards. I was like $50,000 deep in sales before I learned that this was a thing. Fees for TCGPlayer cap out at $50 per item, which means if you sell something that's over $500, that fee, the marketplace fee, is going to cap out at $50. You still have to pay the 2.5% credit card processing fee no matter what. But this means if you sell a card that's $1,000, you're still only going to pay that 50% or that $50 marketplace fee plus whatever 2.5% is, right? So when I sold the Latios and Latios GX tag team card for like $2,000 or whatever that was, I only paid $50 in fees plus 2.5%, which is really, really cool, which means margins for super expensive stuff are really, really high. So if you're going to move something like that over to a platform like TCGPlayer, that's definitely something worth considering. Now, for some of you, selling something that expensive and trusting USPS with a $2,000 piece of cardboard is not something that you do. And so I totally understand that. You are incurring risk, but the fees do cap out at $50 per item. So that's true. Now, another thing that TCGPlayer has going for it is that once you get to level 4, which is basically like saying, hey, I've done over 50 sales and I've been able to get people their cards and I give good customer service and all of that. It's not that tough to get to level 4. It just takes a little bit of time. You have the ability to pay an extra 2.5% for every order to get access to the ProSeller tools. Now, what is ProSeller? ProSeller is the ability to have really two big things. One of them is called Mass Price. Mass Price is a tool that lets you set rules, daily rules or twice a day rules, or really however often you want, rules for your store to be like, hey, every day I want all of my cards over $10 to be priced 10% over the market, or 5% over market, or 3% under the market. So as the market fluctuates and goes up and down, you can change your prices depending on how quickly you want to move things or how much money you're trying to make per type of card, which is really cool. You also get access to something called the ProSeller site. Remember I was talking about having your own site earlier? This is really cool. If you are a ProSeller, you get your own site with a link. You guys can check out mine down below if you want to know what that looks like. By the way, I list stuff 5% under market. So if you're trying to like buy something, that'd be a good place to maybe go find out a deal. I only pay 5% in fees when people shop specifically from me at that link, and it's still in the TCGPlayer ecosystem. They still take care of all the taxes and Nexus things and stuff like that. I don't have to screw with any of that. And so if people shop there, I pay 2.5% credit card fee, which you can't get away from no matter what you do. And then I just pay the 2.5% ProSeller fee, but the marketplace fee is completely waived. So I only pay 5% in fees. So something worth considering too. That's one of my favorite things about TCGPlayer because I get to sell to you guys and I've been able to build a brand and do rip and ships on there and stuff. It's been so cool. Another thing that I personally love about TCGPlayer is the direct program. This is going to be difficult to explain and this video is already 12 minutes long, so I'm going to speed run this for you. The direct program is something that you can opt into once you sell, I think like $600 in cards a week. So you got to sell like $2,400 in cards a month. And they only have it for Magic and Pokemon cards. But anytime you make a sale or anytime someone buys something from you, TCGPlayer immediately sends that card to the customer. The customer doesn't actually buy the card that you had. And then after you hit a certain amount of sales, you send all those cards to TCGPlayer. Now you pay more in fees to do that, but you spend less time shipping out cards to each customer. That's confusing, I'm sure, but it ends up saving you a lot of time and you pay a little more in fees. So it's a way to like open yourself up to other parts of the business that you might not have had time for in other scenarios. So that is something worth considering. Again, you have to be doing a decent amount of sales to get into that program, but I enjoy the direct program. That's been something that's helped me, but something worth considering. I would say those are the biggest pros, all of the pros that I want to talk about when it comes to TCGPlayer. Now, what do you do? What should you do? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Both of those platforms are great. There are people who have built huge businesses selling on both TCGPlayer and eBay. TCGPlayer has worked for me. It's been the platform that I've sold all of my cards on. But again, I know a ton of people who have had incredible success selling on eBay. So for you, what I would recommend, especially if you're starting out, try out both platforms. Try and see which workflows you like more. Try and see which platform jives better with you. And truly, the best of both worlds is to have a presence on both of these platforms. Maybe to have a fairly sizable inventory on eBay and a fairly sizable inventory on TCGPlayer so that you can be selling these big high-end slabs, these expensive boys on eBay, and then also on TCGPlayer you can be selling, bulk cards in the direct program. Maybe that's too much, but that truly is the best of both worlds, and so that's something worth considering. But all of these things is just in an attempt to educate you and help you based on my expertise of being in this Pokemon business space, online reselling space for about a year and a half. So if you find this content helpful, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel. because I make stuff like this all the time. And then remember to subscribe to the channel and then like and comment on this video. But I believe that Jesus loves you, that he has an incredible plan for your life. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.